When you're starting a career in commercial real estate, one of the biggest decisions you'll have to make is whether to go work for a big institutional player or a smaller, more entrepreneurial firm. And after working for multiple different companies of both sizes myself and seeing where other people have ended up when going each of these routes, there are very clear advantages and disadvantages of going either way. So to help you think through this, if you're trying to decide where you want to start your career in this industry, this video walks through the main things to think about when choosing between working for a big or small company in commercial real estate and how each of these paths might impact your long-term success. So let's start out by talking about the big company route first, since this tends to be what most people think they want directly out of college. And for context, I'd classify a big company as having about 50 employees or more that are all working on very specific and different parts of the business. Now, the biggest advantage I've seen of going this route is that a brand name on your resume from a nationally or globally recognized firm can open up a ton of doors for you in the future in a variety of different ways. Working for a big brand name organization, even in just an internship capacity, will do a lot to get your resume noticed when you're applying for your next job. And if you want to maximize exit opportunities for associate or manager level roles, it's really hard to beat analyst experience at a big, well-known shop. These companies typically have more structured training programs, work on big institutional deals, and have a pretty rigorous selection process in the first place. So when analysts come out of these firms looking for their next opportunity, employers tend to assume that these people know what they're doing. Working at a big company will also give you the opportunity to learn the best practices in the industry for your specific job function. So if you're trying to improve your skills quickly in things like financial modeling, deal sourcing, investment analysis, or capital raising, it's really hard to beat institutional experience. Having big companies on your resume can also be really helpful if you plan to start a company of your own in the future and plan to raise capital to fund your deals, since the relationships you'll often build with lenders and private equity firms in these positions can make it a lot easier to source both equity and debt. I would also say that for people who know they want to build their careers inside large organizations, starting out at one of these firms is arguably the best way to make that happen. So if your main goal of getting into this industry in the first place is to be the head of acquisitions at a major real estate investment firm, for example, trying to get into one of these shops as early as possible is going to be your best bet to make that a reality. Now, even though there are a lot of benefits of going this route, one of the biggest downsides of this path that I've seen over the years is that you can often get siloed into one specific job function. This means that if you're working as an acquisitions analyst, for example, your day-to-day responsibilities might only include financial modeling and underwriting, and you won't be involved at all with the process of transaction management, raising capital, or transitioning a property into the company's portfolio. And without this experience, this can make it pretty tough to understand where your work fits into the bigger picture. And if you decide to transition to work for a smaller firm in the future or strike out on your own, there will inevitably be a lot of things that you just won't know how to do. And because these companies tend to be more established overall, there can also be a lot more bureaucracy when it comes to pay levels and promotions, which can be extremely frustrating for young professionals that are driven and looking to progress quickly. Ultimately, if you're looking to maximize your exit opportunities, build your career within institutions, or learn the business in a structured, methodical way, working for a big name company can be a great option to consider. Now, if anything I just mentioned makes you feel like a big company might not be the right fit for you, you may want to consider working for a smaller, more entrepreneurial organization, which has a lot of unique advantages that just don't exist when working for bigger companies. One of the most notable things that these companies have going for them that's extremely hard to replicate within a large team is that you'll often be able to touch all aspects of the deals you work on, from raising capital to the acquisitions process to managing the asset and investor reporting, and this is often true even if these things aren't included within your initial job description. And as an early career real estate professional, the name of the game is reps and exposure. An experience like this gives you the opportunity to test out a lot of different parts of the business in a very short period of time and can help you figure out where you want to focus most when planning your career long term. Smaller firms will also typically give their analysts and associates a lot more responsibility than you'd see as an analyst or associate at a big brand name shop, primarily because they have fewer people to delegate to, which can often give you the opportunity to work directly with brokers, lenders, and equity partners, or even take the lead on entire transactions. Smaller companies also tend to operate much more as meritocracies when it comes to pay and promotions, and are much more likely to open up co-investment opportunities with lower investment minimums for more junior level employees. In my experience, deal structures tend to be a lot less complex at these firms, with most smaller companies raising capital on a deal-by-deal basis rather than in a discretionary fund, which can open up a lot of opportunities to participate in fees and promoted interest on the specific transactions that you end up working on. Smaller firms will also usually give analysts a lot more exposure to senior leadership on a day-to-day basis, which can provide a huge learning opportunity for people coming straight out of college or with very limited real estate experience, especially if that senior leadership has worked for institutions. Now, the biggest downside I've seen to working at companies like these is that a lot of times, if the senior leaders of the firm don't come from institutional backgrounds or don't prioritize learning and development for their employees, the training within these organizations can feel really disorganized. The last thing you want to do is start your career building bad habits and learning from people that may also be learning as they go, so you need to make sure that the people you'd be working for are both credible and experienced in the specific sector of the industry the company is involved in. Pay levels and benefits packages for analysts at these types of companies can also be pretty hit or miss, which can be difficult for people with young families or a lot of student loan debt, so this is also something to consider if you fall into either of these two categories. Ultimately, I see smaller shops as great places for people who want to build their own portfolios, get hands-on leadership experience quickly, or participate in the upside of the deals they work on. And this is especially true when the senior leadership team you'd be working for can bring institutional best practices directly to the firm. At the end of the day, both of these paths have their benefits, but if you're trying to decide which firms you want to target during your job search, I hope this is helpful. And if you want to make sure you have the skills you'll need to make it through the interview process at real estate firms, regardless of company size, make sure to check out our all-in-one membership training platform, Breaking a CRE Academy. A membership to the Academy will give you instant access to over 120 hours of video training on real estate financial modeling and analysis. You'll get access to hundreds of practice Excel interview exam questions, sample acquisition case studies, and you'll also get access to the Breaking a CRE Analyst Certification exam, which covers topics like real estate pro forma and development modeling, commercial real estate lease modeling, equity waterfall modeling, and many other real estate financial analysis concepts that will help you prove to employers that you have what it takes to tackle the responsibilities of an analyst or associate at a top real estate firm. And if you like this video and want to see more content on the channel on how to think through major career decisions like these, make sure to hit the like button and let me know. And let me know in the comments whether you're targeting bigger or smaller firms and why that's the case. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.